Well, welcome back to episode 5 on Bevington Farm. You will see in front of me we have 3 new vehicles. Now, I have watched back episode 2 and the large seeder it just didn't fit comfortably for this farm. And those fields with that large seeder took 45 minutes to do still. So the problem is, it's a small British based location with massive fields and only little old me to work them. And in the real world, that wouldn't happen. You would have more farmers, more staff to assist. So I am trying to go back to a little bit of core roots and again, small farming, but we're going to have a lot of AI workers, hopefully, assisting us. At least that is my intention. So that's what this is here. We will, where possible and where suitable, we will get things in triplicate. So, for instance, the seeder. I am going to keep the large seeder down there. There's no point getting rid of it now, but I am going to get some more size appropriate seeders, and we may get them in triplicate, so we can have 3 vehicles working at the same time. I might, if the task aligns, for instance the mowing, have 1 mowing, 1 windrowing and 1 baling. So again, it's doing things in that manner. That's my intention. It should hopefully also make the content a bit more enjoyable for you to watch, so you're not watching me do all the fields mowed, all the fields windrowed and all the fields baled, or me filming just the cutting and then showing you the very end when they're all baled, etc. It will allow me a bit more freedom to do a bit more around that. That is the intention. So, on this episode, we're in June, we're in the back end of June, June the 1st of 3. But we're going to find out if there's anything else to do in this month, which I suspect not. We've done the grass work, so that's all done. We've fed the cows, that's all done. The sheep are self-catering because they have their own grass there. So, really, until we need to put seed in the ground, there's not a huge amount to do. I have a weeding spraying task to do on a field that we sowed on episode 2, but outside of that is pretty much it. Now, I made a huge mistake when I came to seeding. I put in tram lines at 42 meters. Now I did that because I thought my spray was going to do 42 meters. It does not. It does 24 meters. It is my fertilizer and lime spreader that does 42 meter widths. Oh, was this field? Where have I put my tractor? Oh, there we are. This field over here. So we're going to have to navigate that accordingly. I have got narrow tyres. I've been riding narrow tyres since we got this. The crop growth is not long enough anyway to have an impact, so we can drive over it. It just defeats the object of putting tram lines in. So apologies for that. Right, we're going to do this, and then I am going to go across possibly to July. Okay, so that is all the fields now weeded. I did a couple off camera just to speed things up before we started the recording. We used, like I said, about 10% of that tank on all the fields, which I think if we didn't have precision farming, that would have been 2 tanks on the field we just did, and then probably a tank each on the other 2 fields. So it does massively save you money on that front, which is fantastic. It's just a shame the rest of it doesn't really work as intended. We still don't have an update as far as I'm concerned when recording this. I don't know when this airs as to whether there has been an update. I'm expecting this to come out on possibly Wednesday of the following week, so it'll be about back end of May. So yeah, so I don't know if there's been an update at that point. Anyway, right, we're going to move on to probably July now, because I know that I've done all my farm work. There's nothing for me to do here, and the only other thing we will be doing now is contract work. So I think we best go to July and see what's awaiting us there. It might even be August, because we need to seed the fields, which is August and September. So we'll see what July holds and go from there. Okay, so we are back in July now, and we have the spreader on the back again. We need to put liquid fertilizer on all the grass fields. We probably need to put lime on all the grass fields. However, with precision farming, lime is not working as intended currently. We can get the fertilizer done, but I think with lime, I'm not sure what we're going to do on that front. I might apply some and see where I go, or I might just leave it because, like I said, it's not working. Right, now I'm not going to show all of these fields on a time lapse. I am going to make a start just to see how this gets on. I'm not even going to time lapse it. I'm just going to see how it appears on the map, do a bit of waffling, and then go from there. Let's get this lined up for this field. Now, the last time I did this with a modded sprayer, and it didn't really do an even spread. So I'm hoping now with this, it should. So it is pulse spraying, which is good. It does look like it's going down with an even spray now, which is again very positive. It wasn't doing that last time because I used a modded version. Yes, all in all, this is working perfectly. Now I don't know if I got the liquid lime mod, if that would work with this. It is something I might consider after we've done the fields. Because if that's a way to get the lime to at least function efficiently, it would be worth doing. I don't want to have to keep getting out the tractor, so I'm not going to close the gate just yet. It's certainly not applying fertilizer where it doesn't need it, which again, really positive, and it looks like it's going down in very low volumes, which it didn't do last time. So yeah, so using the base game equipment, the fertilizer at least is working sufficiently. It has missed a couple of gaps there. Go back and see if it picks them up. Yeah, so I'm going to get this done. We will catch up once I am onto the lime aspect of things. I will dip out the game and get the liquid lime mod because I haven't got that installed currently. So we'll give both the liquid lime a try, and we'll also try it with just the regular lime spreader and see what happens with each. Okay, so that is all the fertilizing done now. I have then put in liquid lime mod that I said I was going to do, and I have filled the tank up with liquid lime. So, the key part is, will this work? So we have a look at, we'll go to an actual field rather than one of these because they aren't properly done as fields in Giants Editor. Give this one a go here. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Looking at the map currently, where are we at? Farming. So yeah, there's our nitrogen all evenly spread on the grass fields. That's the lime state on those fields, that's the lime on these fields. You can see it didn't lie very evenly there whatsoever. So you'd be interested to see if that changes. Now it is pulsing, however it's going down very, very quickly. It also doesn't look like it shows on the map, which the fertilizer does. It also doesn't look like it's applying to the ground, so it doesn't look like we're actually putting lime on the ground. And that map does not look like it's changed at all. No, it's still saying bad pH. So I think the short answer is no, it does not work any better as liquid lime. Lime as a whole is still flawed. Yeah, that shows no sign of changing whatsoever. Can't pour that. And yeah, no meaningful change on the pH value. Well, that's £900 I won't get back. I think with that in mind, I'm not going to do the lime because there's no point wasting money on what won't make a bit of difference. Now, good news. While I was doing the fertilising, I got a store notification in the top right corner that there was an item on sale, an item that I really want. In fact, I want two of them. That is this. A much more reasonable cedar. So it's 4.4 meters wide. You can get a link that links to them together, so that would be 8.8 meters wide, which isn't too shabby at all. So yeah, I think that's a huge win. That is definitely on my to-do list to get the next one. Ideally, if it was in a sale, even better, but if not full price, it is what it is. Well, now we're on to seeding this field here. We cannot do this in July, we need to do this in August. We're going to put canola in. I have bought an extra Massey Ferguson and we have them lined up here. So we've got our two glass tractors ready to go. I have got a third tractor where I could purchase a third seeder if required. This is quite a substantial sized field for these size seeders. My primary concern though is this field has not been prepped since it was harvested in any shape or form, And because these are not direct seeders, we might need to run a cultivator over here first. So if that's the case, I'll bring the class over with a small cultivator, and it can run ahead doing the cultivating, and then we'll go from there. But I'm going to go to August and we will find out. Works fantastic. If not, we'll do some cultivating too. Right, so it did allow us to seed directly into the field state as it currently is, so no cultivating required currently. The first one is heading away there on AI. The second one, which I'm in, is currently on AI for the time being. However, I will be manually driving this at some point. But because we're using Courseplay, I don't think the steering assist will line up with the course as it's intended. So we'll see how we get on with that front. But for the headlands, I just want to get this round to see how it pans out. I've got curved corners on, overlap of 25%, hoping to miss rid of the edges from being missed, but we will see. Interesting. Oh, okay. Just a bit slow into the maneuvers. I'm also not sure where the hail is coming from because there's no forecast for hail today, but here it is. Right, we'll see, because I think we might have to go over the corners at the end just to make sure we haven't missed anything. I know on my last round of seeding, anything we missed I kind of just left. I'm tempted to do the same again this time, but we'll see. Because ultimately, a real farmer probably wouldn't come back and cover small areas that have missed. They would put that down to a bit of human error. We could do the same here as well. I really need to consider what I do in terms of when I seed fields, because we've had to go through another already seeded field. We have got narrow tyres on the tractor, but the seeder, its twin tyres can do crop damage, so need to be mindful of that. The benefit of this field, we had tram lines going into the gate, so we could get around that okay. The other field required to be seeded has no tram lines leading up to its gate, so it means we will be doing crop damage. So, not ideal. Not sure why it's stuttering a bit like this from us in terms of accelerating, decelerating. It's the first time I've properly used Courseplay on this map, seeding. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get onto it and pre-put most of this onto a time-lapse view. Okay, so for the most part I left the AI working on the field. It was easier because the course player was set to follow the field edge, so I couldn't get a steering assist that would line up adequately. I'm not sure why there's certain areas here where there's still got patches of weeds through. And the other thing that concerns me is I don't know how the tram lines have been put in this time. We'll have to check over that shortly. I'm just going to go over these areas where I know there's been a bit missed. But, like I said, this entire line, it would line up with where the tram lines are, but I don't know why only this section's had weed showing through, whereas the rest of the field for the most part hasn't. See? Not sure at all. Right, let's have a look. So yeah, so we've gone up and down this way, and it doesn't look like the tram lines have gone in any differently. So I don't know if the game fixes the tram lines like this, so even though we've been going along this field edge, it still pauses in these areas to put in tram lines. Now my other issue is this was set at 42 meter widths, and I've set the tram lines to 24 meter width this time around, so this should be different. I just don't know enough about precision farming at the minute to know why it's done what it's done. I'm sure there was another YouTuber did a video around tram lines with courseplay, and that courseplay would still put them in. It may not, maybe it was just a fluke. So yeah, I'm not entirely certain yet. We will find out when the crop starts growing. I'm going to do this corner, probably do the other corners too, to be fair. I know I said I wasn't going to consider doing this, but while we're here, might as well. Cut to the corners, and then get these taken back to the farm. Now, the way these get transported, they've got transport wheels there. You need a hitch bar for them, and I only bought one because I'm silly like that. Because you can't actually attach the hitch bar to the 3-point and then attach the seeder when it's in its seeding state like this. So it would mean basically uncoupling and clotting around, so I thought I'll leave it up for now. I've got a funny feeling it's on the tractor that's at the farm. Right, so that's that. We'll leave that one there for now. I'm going to just finish this edge off just by a fraction of a few feet. Now what I'm amazed by is how little seed this used for the field. I am putting that entirely squarely down to precision farming. If nothing else, that's at least one advantage. So yes, I think that's pretty much everything we need to do for the time being. Our animals are good in terms of food for the time being. No concerns there whatsoever. I will need to find some suitable locations for these seeders at some point, but again I'm going to worry about that in another episode because we are going to get them straight back out in September. I think for now, we will quite happily leave this episode here. And again, for those who have been watching, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.